Good morning.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
I guess, Martina, we're all set to go?
We are. I'll just wait for Wendy to come back on the screen, and it looks like all of our parties are here.
Okay, good.
Good.
Okay. Welcome, everyone. Before we begin, I'd like to remind you that this meeting is being recorded and streamed on the Township YouTube channel. We'll be holding the meeting as though we're in the council chambers, and we'll follow all our regular policies and procedures. Please raise your hand if you'd like to speak on a matter, and I will call on you. When I call for the vote, I will call for all those in favor, followed by all those opposed, and we will physically raise your hand to vote in a manner you wish to vote. I'd like to call the meeting to call the roll and call the meeting to order, and now like to call the roll. Please raise your hand when state your presence when I call your name. Wendy Dunford.
Here.
Thank you. Ken Jackman.
Present.
Jim Patterson.
Present.
And Ed Reed.
I am present.
Okay, we have Martina Chait Hardwick present, who is our secretary planner for this portion of the meeting. And also support people are Nicole Zinner and Vanessa Sweeting. Throughout the meeting, applicants or their agents may be joining us. So I'm not sure whether they will be this morning or not, Martina, but
I haven't had confirmation that they will be joining us.
okay. Now, the next item, since I did call the meeting to order, any disclosure of pecuniary interest? Okay, seeing none, could I have approval of the minutes from October the 23rd, please? Okay, Ken moves it and Wendy seconded. Any questions or comments? All those in favor? All those opposed? Carried. Okay, next step is the minor variance for Wendy and Howard Zelsman. Martina, would you take us through that application, please? It's 876 Birchview Road, Douro Ward.
That's right. Thank you, Mr. Chair. So this is application A0620. The legal description on the property is concession 1, part lot 27, plan 33, part lot 10. As you stated, the address is 876 Birchview Road in the Douro Ward. The roll number is 010-001-06700. The property owners would like to construct a new detached garage. To permit the detached garage in the proposed location, variances are requested to reduce the rear yard setback requirement from the lot line abutting a public or private road from 15 meters, 49.2 feet to 6.15 meters, 20.2 feet. A variance of, excuse me, I'm just gonna have a glass of some water. A variance of 8.85 meters, 29.1 feet, and from 15 meters, 49.2 feet to 7.28 meters, 23.9 feet. A variance of 7.72 meters, 25.3 feet. The variance is required so that the accessory structure can be located with an adequate setback to a sewage disposal system. We have received comments on this application. We received correspondence from Curve Lake First Nations, which was included in the application, that confirms that no archaeological concerns exist at this time. We've also received a comment from a neighbor. It's from Joyce and Don McPherson. They state, please be advised that we at 874 Birchview Road have no objection to the proposed minor variance for the building of a double garage at 876 Birchview Road. We've also received a comment from Otonabee Region Conservation Authority. I'll just summarize their comments. That they've received the application and they've reviewed the available information in accordance with their mandate and policies and now offer the following comments. It's the opinion that the proposal is consistent with section 3.1 of the provincial policy statement. To address the growth plan for the Greater Golden Horseshoe policy, suitable erosion and sediment controls are implemented and a plan to restore the maximum extent possible, the ecological features and functions of the nearby area via a planting plan is submitted at the time of the building permit. Towneby Conservation is of the opinion that the proposal is consistent with sections 2.1 and 2.2 of the provincial policy statement and conforms to section 4.2.45B of the growth plan for the Greater Golden Horseshoe. Further to that, they do state that the location of the garage is not within a regulated area and a permit from their agency is not required for this proposal. The subject property is zoned shoreline residential zone, and residential uses, including accessory structures, are permitted within this zone. In this case, the applicant is seeking relief from section 3.1.2, location of an accessory structure, in order to construct a detached garage within 15 meters of the lot line abutting a public road known as Birch Tree Road. The applicant state the reason for the application of minor variance is as follows. The applicant, we would like to build a 2-car garage, but the distance from the septic field designates where the garage can go. We will move the septic bed to comply, but need a minor variance back from the road. The property is described as a level, flat rock from house to road. Backup house drops sharply to the lake. The notice was circulated to the management team and no comments were received at the time of the report, and none have been received since then. A minor variance was approved in 2003. It was file A2303 to permit the reconstruction of a dwelling to 19% lot coverage. At 728 square feet, the proposed garage meets the maximum lot coverage requirement of 5% for accessory structures. Lot coverage for accessory structures are intended to be considered in addition to any other lot coverage regulations as specified in the bylaw, which is section 3.1.3. According to the site plan provided, this next section speaks to the building openings. Since the time of writing this report, we have received confirmation from the applicants that the building entrances, which is the garage doors, are not facing the road. They'll be facing internally on the property. So that part of the report has already been addressed. So I won't take your time and read that. So the application appears to be consistent with the provincial policy statement. If the committee wishes to pass or approve the application, the committee should state in its decision how the application meets or does not meet the 4 tests. The application is or is not minor in nature. The application is or is not desirable and appropriate to the development of the land. The application meets or does not meet the general intent of the official plan, and the application meets or does not meet the general intent of the zoning bylaw. Further, at the end of your deliberations, the committee will need to pass a resolution regarding the impact, if any, of any comments that were received regarding the application. Further, if the application is approved, the following conditions are recommended: that the variance be for the life of the structure only, that the existing entrance onto the subject land be maintained, providing internal access to the proposed garage, that the applicant obtain any necessary permits from ORCA, the building department, Trent Severn Waterways, and any other required ministry or agencies, that proper building plans be submitted with the building permit application based on the design included on the site plan, prepared by J.B. Flugel Surveyors, dated November 2nd, and attached to this report, that the exterior corners of the structure be pinned by a surveyor on poured footings, and a copy of the survey be provided to the chief building official after the footings are poured, prior to any further construction taking place. That verification from an Ontario land surveyor be provided to the township's chief building official after the structures are framed to confirm that all applicable setback requirements have been met, and to ensure compliance with any relief granted by this decision of the committee. And that if any archaeological artifacts are found during construction, that all development shall be halted immediately and the proper agencies be contacted. Mr. Chair, I'll just note that while I was reviewing the report, Wendy Zelsman, the property owner, has joined the meeting.
Yes, welcome. The Zelmans. Is there anything further, Zelmans, Mr. and Mrs. Zelman, that you'd like to present to the board?
I think we just want to be a part of the decision making in case something comes up that is misconstrued, or I just want to, we put a lot of effort into it, so I just want to be on board.
Okay, well, thanks very much for attending. Any questions from any of the board members? Ken? Go ahead.
Through you, the chair, just for clarification for myself, Just a couple points. I noticed on the site plan, the site plan survey, the garage is 26 by 24, but then when you look at the garage plans, it's 26 by 28. So I just need some clarification there, and I'm not sure if that would change any of the setbacks. I don't think it would from the roadway. The other question, maybe through you, the chair, for Martina, because they got to relocate the septic, this lot, I'm quite familiar with it. It's pretty tight. I wonder if the Zelsmans have explored where the new septic might go and whether that might have been included in the variance if it needed relief from setbacks. That's just a question I had.
Well, actually, we did, and a fellow from the Douro-Dummer office came out to determine that the fellow that is relocating the septic, that they were both in agreement.
Okay.
And it's been staked.
Okay.
So
Okay.
it'll run parallel to the house. And it'll be the approved distance from the garage, and that's the only way it could happen. So I've had to pull up my entire garden.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, was there anything else from any of the members?
Just, I didn't know if they could clarify the size of the garage. Is it 26 by 28 or 26 by 24? Because it's not.
26, it's 26 by 28. And Amanda from Peterborough Planning, she had the surveyor resubmit the drawings. So perhaps you don't have the updated version.
Okay, thank you.
Martina, go ahead, Martina.
Through you, Mr. Chair. Wendy is correct. That was the dimensions that I had mentioned, that the doors had been addressed. And so because of the doors being addressed, the size of the garage is 8.53 meters by 7.92 meters. But all of the applicable setbacks that have been requested are still in effect.
Okay, thank you.
Thank
Any
you.
other questions or comments from any of the members? Are we ready for a resolution? Ken, go ahead.
I would be prepared to move that we accept the minor variance with the noted conditions that Martina had indicated in her report.
And the 4 tests are included in that resolution?
Yes, and we took into consideration the correspondence that was received, being the neighbor, Orca, and Curve Lake First Nations.
Okay, just before I get a seconder on that, Martina, do you want that portion in a separate motion?
Yes, that is correct, Mr. Chair. The resolution regarding the application of any comments and correspondence will be a separate resolution. I can review that once this motion is complete.
Is that okay with you, Ken?
Yeah, and I can make that one too if you want, doesn't matter. Okay, I
And
wasn't.
is there a seconder for the first motion, please? Okay, Jim Patterson, any comments or further discussion? All in favor? All against? Carried. So for the next motion, go ahead, Ken.
Yeah, so the next motion, I would just that the decision to approve the application was also, we took into consideration the correspondence from Curve Lake First Nations, the McPhersons being the immediate neighbor, and Orca.
Okay, and seconder for that? Wendy? Any comments, questions? All those in favor? All those against? It's carried. So thank you very much, Mr. and Mrs. Zelsman. It's been approved. There's a 20-day appeal process. But thank you very much for your participation in the meeting this morning, and good luck with the project. You're muted.
Thank you very much for your visit to our site. It was nice meeting you.
Thank you.
Okay, bye.
You've got a nice spot there.
Thanks. Bye.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, now I guess that fulfills our duties for the Committee of Adjustment meeting. The Committee of Planning meeting will start at 9:30. I believe we can't start that early Martina?
That is correct. Because it
So-
was a public meeting and it's been announced at starting at 9:30, we can't move that time up.
Okay, so our next meeting is December 18th. Is there anything on the agenda so far for that, or do we know yet?
Through you, Mr. Chair, I haven't received any minor variance applications for that meeting as of yet.
Okay, so we may be able to cancel that.
I'll let you know sooner as it approaches. So,
Okay, so I guess I need a motion to adjourn this portion of the meeting. Okay, Jim and Wendy, all those in favor? And those opposed, seeing none, carried. Okay, so I guess if we just mute ourselves and what else do you want us to do, Martina?
so what I will do is I will screen share a sign to let the public know that the planning meeting will be starting shortly. And in the
Okay.
meantime, I will mute everyone. And if you want to close your cameras until we come back at 9:30, that would be appreciated as well.
Okay, thank you. We'll see you in a few, 10 minutes or 15 minutes, I guess.
Thank you.
Martina, are you still there?
Yes, Mr. Chair, I am, but the meeting is still recorded
Okay,
during this time. I will speak to you on the phone.
okay.
Mr. Chair, I believe that all members are now present. Jim's camera's on. I believe he's coming back in a moment.
Will the applicant be joining us, Martina?
No, they're not able to make the meeting this morning.
Okay. Okay, I think I'd like to call the meeting to order. Because this is a distinctly different meeting, I do have to go through the preamble here, so just bear with me. Welcome, everyone. Before we begin, I'd like to remind you that the meeting is being recorded and live streamed on the Township YouTube channel. We'll be holding the meeting as though we're in the council chambers, and we'll follow all our regular policies and procedures. Please raise your hand if you'd like to speak on a matter, and I'll call on you. When I call for the vote, I will call for all those in favor, followed by all those opposed. And you will physically raise your hand to vote in the matter you wish to vote. I'd like to call the meeting to order. We'll call the roll here. Wendy Dunford.
Here.
Okay. Ken Jackman. Thank you, Ken. Jim Patterson
Here.
and Ed Reed. And myself, Carl Moher. Okay, Martina Jade Hardwick is here. She is our temporary CAO and acts as clerk planning coordinator as well. Also on the line in a supporting role is Vanessa Sweeting and Nicole Zinner. Thank you, everyone, for joining our meeting. We have any disclosure of pecuniary interest on the applicants? Seeing none. Approval of the minutes for October the 23rd. If I could have a motion for that, please. Wendy moved it and seconded by Ed. Any discussion or comments? All in favor? All those opposed? Carried. Okay, severance application B4520, B4620 for the Grady's. If Martina, you could take us through the application or highlights of it, please.
Absolutely. Hopefully my voice holds out on this one for you.
No problem.
So this is applications B4520 and B4620 for Kenneth and Pamela Grady. The property is located at Lot 5, Concession 3. It's 861 Webster Road in the Dummer Ward. The roll number is 020001 02910. This application is quite complex, so I will go through the report in detail, and then if you have questions, please let me know. So the purpose of the application is to create 2 new residential lots. The official plan designation on both the severed and retained is rural area. Residential uses are permitted in the rural designation, provided that fragmentation of farmlands in conflict with adjacent farm operations are not created. A maximum of 2 consents to create new lots may be permitted from a property within the rural designation, so long as it has existed 25 years prior to the date of application and has been owned for a minimum of 5 years. There have been no previous severances within the past 25 years. The zoning on the retained and severed lands is rural, RU. Rezonings may be required. The severed lots will meet the area and frontage requirements for a residential use in the rural zone, section 9.2.4. The retained lot will meet the area and frontage requirements for a residential use in the rural zone, section 9.2.4. The severance proposal appears to be in conformity with the provincial policy statement. The proposed lots are located within 120 meters of key natural heritage and hydrological features, including an area of natural and scientific interest. Those are generally referred to as ANSIs. Significant woodlands, drainage features, unevaluated wetlands, and potential habitat of endangered and threatened species. An environmental impact study was required. The County of Peterborough official plan section 4.1.3.1 states that development and site alterations such as filling, grading, and excavating may be permitted within or adjacent to natural heritage features, provided that it has been demonstrated by an environmental impact assessment that there will be no negative impacts on the natural features or ecological functions for which the area is identified. An environmental impact study was submitted and the application was reviewed by ORCA. Their comments follow. There is no need for for an entrance report from the township, as these 2 lots have access onto county roads. A copy of the county's preliminary severance review was attached for your records. A discussion with County Infrastructure Services, Autonomy Conservation, and County of Peterborough planning staff have resolved most of the issues that were highlighted in the preliminary severance review. In order to comply with provincial policy, the provincial policy statement and the growth plan, and address any impacts on key hydrological features and natural heritage features, ORCA made a number of recommendations. Rezoning was recommended for the severed and retained parcels to protect the unevaluated wetlands and associated 30-meter buffers on the retained lands. No development or site alteration is being proposed within 30 meters of this feature. However, the unevaluated wetland is not currently zoned and therefore a condition has been recommended. ORCA also recommended that the development of Lot 2 proceed through site plan control to address the grading and drainage issues presented by the ephemeral drainage features that traverse the proposed parcel. The EIS also makes mention of a number of recommendations and mitigation features for both lots to address wetlands, significant woodlands, and potential habitat of endangered and threatened species, including the limits on vegetation removal, site leveling, impermeable surfaces, sediment and erosion control measures that may be enforced through site plan control. Township Site Plan Control Bylaw 2002-71 sets out what properties are subject to site plan control. It includes any project where site plan control is imposed as a condition of an application to the County Land Division Committee. Therefore, a condition has been recommended for both lots in order to implement the recommendations and mitigation measures. Given the 1-year timeframe to meet the conditions of a consent approval, requesting a rezoning, including a holding provision, may be the most appropriate way to implement the site plan control for the proposed lots. A holding zone means that the development of the subject lands cannot commence until a final site plan and an agreement is approved by council, registered on title, and the holding provision is removed by bylaw. Holding provisions are typically used when the development is anticipated in accordance with the provisions of the bylaw, but where details of the development have not yet been determined or are otherwise constrained and require further study. Rather than risk lapsing the pending consent approval if the property owners cannot complete the site plan approval process within 1 year, the holding provision will allow them more flexibility in the design stage. County of Peterborough Infrastructure Services have confirmed that a shared entrance can be accommodated on the property and a road widening will be required. This will be included from the conditions from the county. All department managers were circulated for comment on this application. It's recommended that it be recommended to council that severance applications B4520 and B4620 for Kenneth and Pamela Grady be approved. And if approved by the Peterborough Land Division Committee, that the following conditions be opposed. That a $1,250 cash in lieu of parkland fee be paid to the municipality for each lot. When the applicant files a formal severance application, there will be a fee to inspect the test wells to ensure the septic system would be viable. That process has actually already been completed, so we do not have to impose that condition. We already have the records on hand. That the unevaluated wetland and the 30-meter buffers on the retained parcel be zoned to environmental conservation to the satisfaction of the municipality. That the severed lot be subject to site plan control in accordance with the Township of Douro-Dummer bylaw, or that the severed lot be rezoned with a holding symbol provision subject to approval of site plan and agreement to the satisfaction of the municipality in accordance with the site plan control bylaw. In speaking to the applicant since the report has been on the website, they have reviewed it and they are in favor of the condition regarding the holding symbol. They would prefer that option if it was amenable to the committee. So just so you have that information as well. Oh, sorry, Mr. Chair, you're on mute at the moment.
Thank you, Martina. The handouts or our agenda showed $1,250 cash in lieu of parkland be paid to the municipality. I assume it's been amended to add for each lot.
It will be in the recommendation that comes forward.
Okay.
Because that is the policy. It's supposed to be for each lot that's created, not each application.
Okay, and that the last bullet point on the right of it says that the severed lot, should that be plural, LOTS, lots?
That's correct.
Okay, so that's been changed as well. Thank you. Any questions, comments from members? Jim?
A comment that this is very, very complex, as Martina pointed out, and I just want to acknowledge Orca and the county working together to try to make this happen and protect the natural environment and the birds and the bees and the bumblebees, etc. So I read this with satisfaction. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Okay, resolution, are we ready for a resolution, or if there's any questions before that? Okay, is there a resolution that we'd like to put forward, please?
Sure.
Jim?
I think in the absence of no resolution, let's make one. That we recommend this go to council and be referred back, for the process to continue as Martina outlined.
With the conditions listed.
With the conditions, etc., and we'll see this again.
Okay. There's maybe I'll just get a seconder before Martina. Okay, Ed, go ahead. Now, Martina?
I just wanted to ask you, Mr. Chair, if you wanted me to reread those conditions.
Sure.
Yeah, good idea.
So that it be recommended to council that the severance applications B4520 and B4620 for Kenneth and Pamela Grady be approved, and if approved by the Peterborough Land Division Committee, the following conditions be imposed for both lots. That a $1,250 cash in lieu of parkland fee be paid to the municipality for each lot created. That the unevaluated wetlands and the 30-meter buffers on the retained parcel be rezoned to environmental conservation to the satisfaction of the municipality, and that the severed lots be rezoned with a holding provision subject to approval of site plan and agreement to the satisfaction of the municipality in accordance with the Township of Douro-Dummer's Site Plan Control Bylaw 2002-71.
Okay. Any further comments or questions? All those in favor, please show your hand. Those opposed? Seeing none, it's approved. Thank you very much, everyone. Next meeting, if required, is December the 18th at 9 o'clock. And Martina will let us know on that. And
Mr. Chair, we do have at least one application for that, for the planning
Okay.
committee meeting on the 18th.
okay, so we'll be meeting that day. So it might be 9 or 9:30, depending on whatever. So is there anything else that the committee would like to bring forward? Jim, you mentioned about the cooperation of county and autonomy conservation, and there was a lot of back and forth on this. Even with the environmental, there's a fair amount of detail in the environmental study that was interesting. There's a few changes taking place at Queen's Park these days on the Conservation Authority. So there's various been news releases and so on. There's been various, there's a letter going back to the province asking that they consider various things. So more to come relative to planning and Conservation Act for the province of Ontario. So keep our ears to the ground because there may be some changes here in the future days.
Yep.
I think that's all for this meeting. They're meeting to adjourn. If somebody would like to move that, please. Ken, seconded by Jim. All those in favor? Okay, thanks very much, and we'll see you, and stay safe, and have a great weekend.
Thank you
you
very
all.
much.
Thank you very much for
Have a
joining.
great day.